Good afternoon, folks. My name is BJ, and today, as promised, I'm going to tell you about some new career paths that you can take if you're a frustrated teacher, especially if you work in public schools and you're tired of dealing with uncooperative parents, irritable students, and domineering school board administrators, right? You're looking for something new. You want to take the transferable skills that you have as a teacher and move them into a new role where you'll have more freedom, flexibility, less stress, less anxiety, and less frustration. So the first role I'm going to talk to you about is the role of the training specialist. What a training specialist does is they train adults. So your audience, instead of being middle school, elementary, or high school students, will be adult professionals, right? You get a whole different vibe. And the beauty of this job is that you can work remotely, or if you prefer, you can go into an in-office environment. I prefer to work remotely and have been doing so for the past 5 years. I love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. So here's how it works. With the contracting roles, you're typically going to sign a contract for 6 or 12 months. I've heard of some 18 and 24-month contracts as well. And typically when you get into a contract, that time frame is, in most cases, guaranteed. So if they sign you up for 6 months, you're going to be there for 6 months. Or if they ask you to sign up for 12 months, you're going to be there for 12 months. Now, what may also happen is if you do very well in the role, or if there's additional projects that need to be completed, or if the project isn't completed in the original time frame, you may be asked to stay on. And if you want to stay on, you can extend the contract. So some of the things you'll need to know about if you accept a contracting role are the following. With contracting roles, they don't typically offer insurance, although some of the contracting companies do offer insurance through the contracting agency. And then also, they don't typically offer 401k benefits, although some of the agencies themselves may offer you 401k benefits. What I do is, because of the state that I live in and the Affordable Health Care Act, I buy insurance directly through my state, which is very affordable, covers everything that I need, and I also manage my retirement funds. I rolled over my initial 401k into Roth IRAs. I also now have some mutual funds and some other investment accounts. If you're the kind of person that doesn't necessarily want to manage your own retirement funds, then you can roll it over into an IRA or something like that, and then you can hire an investment company to manage it for you, just like they did when you were in corporate America. The other role would be as a training specialist in a corporate setting. So you would apply for a job with a corporation. That could be a small, medium, or international sized business, and you will have a team that you work on, whether it's in contracting or in a permanent role. You typically will work on a team of maybe 5, 10, no more than 15 personnel. You'll report to usually a manager or a director, and you'll work pretty much independently. I prefer to work remotely. There are roles that you can do in office if you choose, but I think for a lot of you who want to leave that hectic environment of public school teaching, you might enjoy the peace and tranquility and the and the joy that comes, the sheer joy that comes with working from your quiet home office and managing your day the way that you see fit, right? And your work schedule. Another thing that you can do is that when you work from home, both contracting companies and corporate jobs, in many cases, will offer you an office allowance. So instead of you spending money to buy school supplies for your classroom and your students, many of these companies will give you an allowance, and in many cases, it's annual, and you can use that money to buy a desk chair, a printer, mouse pads, whatever you need for your daily use, ink for your printer, etc. And then I can also tell you that as a contractor and in corporate roles, many of the companies will send you a laptop, they'll send you monitors, the mouse pad, the printer, everything. Some of them even send you a company phone. Even though you're working remote, that's just how it goes, right? And then at the end of the contract, they'll let you know the items that they want you to return. In many cases, they typically only want the laptop back because, of course, that laptop contains proprietary corporate information. So obviously they want that back. But I've had contracts where they've allowed me to keep monitors, they allowed me to keep a printer, things like that. They don't ask for those things to be shipped back. Of course, again, that's going to be on a case-by-case basis. You may end up working for someone, and at the end of the contract, they'll say, send everything back. That's fine too. So those are some of the things that go with that. Now, what does the job look like on a daily basis? So as a training specialist, in many roles, you're going to be asked to come in and look at existing training curriculum that's out there. It might be on PowerPoint, it might be training videos, etc. And you may be asked to update those. Let's say you're working with someone that produces a product. That product occasionally has updates, so you'll be asked to add in the new updates, right? Or if you're working for someone that does, I don't know, legal things or regulatory things, as new regulations or new laws are passed, you may be asked to come in and update training documents, training videos, etc., in accordance with the latest laws and regulations that are passed. The training specialist role can vary in so many directions. You could even be working for a school system. You could be working for a university. You could be working for a hospital. You could be working for any kind of corporation that produces or makes any kind of product, whether it's a tangible product or if it's a virtual product. There's so many different roles that you can be in at so many different kinds of companies. So if you have a specific kind of interest, then you might search for training specialist roles with companies that do something you're interested in. Even companies like Apple and Microsoft need training specialists, right? So almost every business of any size, I would say at least even medium size, and like I said earlier, some small businesses have training specialists on hand. So you can have a wide range of opportunities to move into. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about is there are different roles within that. So like I said, there's remote, which I prefer. Then there are also in-office opportunities if you want to be in an office setting. And then there are traveling roles. I did the traveling role pre-pandemic, and I literally traveled the world, and I think I went to around 30 plus countries. So you can travel the world free of charge. They're going to pay for your flights. They're going to pay for your hotels. They're going to cover your meals. They're going to give you miscellaneous spending money, etc., right? So it depends on where you are in life, what your desires are, and what your interests are. Now, how do you prepare for this role? Well, if you're a teacher already, and if you have a degree, a bachelor's, fantastic. If you have a master's, excellent. If you have even, I know some places nowadays only require a teaching certificate in lieu of degrees, even that's fine because you have the teaching experience. You bring with you experience that is needed and is in great demand. So that experience is going to help you. Now, other things that you can do before applying for these jobs is you can do some certifications. A great certification to have is a project management certificate. Now, as a teacher, you're already a bona fide project manager. Why? Because you're managing probably multiple classes, dozens, if not hundreds of students. You're juggling between students, parents, principals, school administrators, school boards, state, county, city regulations, etc. You're already project managing. You can go online to places like Udemy or Coursera or Google certificates, and you can get a project management certificate. Put that on your resume, and let me tell you, these HR people get more excited about your certifications than they do about your degree. I don't know why that is. It's just a thing. It's a fact. Another certification you could do is in some of these newer training products, right? So there's Articulate and there's Camtasia. I'm going to put all those on the screen, so don't worry about that. If you get certificates in products like Camtasia or Articulate, those are products that are used to create training videos, animations, things like that. Don't get spooked by that if you're not a techie person, because they're easy to learn. I'm not a real techie person, and I've been working in technology for over 10 years, and I've done fairly well for myself. So don't be scared of the terminology. It's all very easy to learn, and I guarantee you, if you can handle 30 students in the classroom, this is going to be a breeze. The beauty also of working as a training specialist is that you're going to have a strict 8-hour day. That's it. There's no work to take home. There's no pre-planning work before work. There's nothing after work. There's no parents calling you. There's no parent-teacher sessions. There's no late-night meetings with the school administrators. None of that. You leave all that behind. And instead of you having to contribute money out of pocket to buy classroom materials or extracurricular booklets and things like that, they're going to give you things like an office allowance. You're going to get a printer and a laptop, and you're going to get money to buy a desk in some cases and to buy an office chair, right? And guess what? Even if you are contracting or in a full-time role that doesn't give you an office allowance, because you're working from home, you can write off some of the things that you buy for your home office. Aha. So no matter what, you're still going to be able to have the nice, comfortable home office that you would like, set it up the way you want, that works best for you, and then you can either get paid through the company to have all those things paid for through an allowance, or you can write it off on your taxes. There you go. Now, the next role I wanted to talk to you about is the LMS Administrator, a Learning Management Systems Administrator. Learning Management Systems Administrators work with learning management systems. And I have a little list here I'm looking down at. Some of them are called, for example, Viva Vault, which I'm going to list for you on the screen, Success Factors, Compliance Wire, and Talent LMS, Talent Learning Management System, right? Those are just a few. There are many out there. I can tell you, as a person who's been doing contracting for 5 years and who's worked with almost all of these, they all work essentially the same. So if you learn one, then you pretty much can use them all. Are there some minor differences in the way they navigate? Yes, but it's like a car. If you buy a stick shift car, they're all the same. If you buy an automatic car, they're all the same. Some are faster, some have different finishes on the interior and the exterior, and the different options in the engine, but it's still a car with park, reverse, neutral drive, right? Same thing with learning management systems. In my experience, none of them are that much different. Now, some of them are more popular. In my experience in the last 5 years, Viva Vault is one of the most popular. So what you can do is you can go out to Udemy, or you can go out to Coursera or some of these other places online, and you can get yourself a certificate in Viva Vault and perhaps a certificate in, let's say, Success Factors. Get yourself a certificate in Success Factors, one in Viva Vault, put that on your resume, and the HR people are going to be just foaming at the mouth trying to get to you, right? Because it's going to show them that you know the basics of how these products work. What the learning management systems do, they're huge. It's like a vault, right? So you're going to have so many functions. Viva covers a variety of things. I can't even go over it all with you, but I'll give you just a few of the highlights of the parts of the systems that I've worked on. Viva Vault may contain employee training records, for example. So in many roles, employees are required to take annual or semi-annual tests to ensure that they're up to date, up to speed, and all the things they need to know for their specific role or their department, etc., right? In other companies, they may be, let's say, regulated by the FDA or some other agency, and they need to show that they're aware of the latest regulations, all that, right? So when the employee takes the test, you don't even have to grade the test like you did with your students. The test is graded by the system. The learning management system grades the test, makes the scores, gives a score, and then all you have to do is ensure that the employee's score is in the appropriate place in their electronic file, the electronic employee file. That's one thing that learning management systems do. The other things that it does is it allows employees to sign documents. So in some companies and in certain roles, employees are required to sign certain documents on an annual basis or semi-annual basis or whatever the case may be. And there's an electronic signature called DocuSign, which you probably have used at some point. And the employee is required to read the document and then digitally sign the document and acknowledge that they've read and understood what they've read, right? And so then you make sure that employees read it. It goes in their file, their electronic employee file. Those are the kind of things you can do. There's so many other things that Viva Vault does, but a lot of it's digital and electronic record keeping, related to company policies, employee trainings, and notifications that employees need to read and acknowledge, etc., right? Same thing with Success Factors. Success Factors has all kinds of other things that it does as well. So I'm going to list those names on the screen. You can Google those and read about them. But again, I guarantee you that if you've had 30 plus students in a class, if you've juggled the students, if you've juggled the parents, if you've juggled the principals and the school administrators, you can do this. Now, for the good news that you've been waiting for. As a contractor, you can typically earn twice as much as a full-time employee at a corporation. So you have to make that decision. I've been contracting, it works for me. The contracting pays me 2 to 2.5 times more, but again, I'm responsible for my insurance and I'm responsible for managing my retirement fund. Like I said, if you don't like managing your fund yourself, you can hire a company just like your old employer does, just like the school board did, and let them handle that fund for you, right, as you make contributions. Now, if you go into a corporate world, take a corporate role again, then you'll go into that role. You'll have all the benefits of a full-time employee, the healthcare, the 401k, the matching contributions, the paid holidays, etc., and let them handle all of that for you. So it really depends. But if you take that corporate role, the salary ranges are going to be, and this is a guesstimate, somewhere between $70,000 to, let's say, $120,000 a year. A lot of that's going to depend on where you live, because many companies pay a salary differential based on the cost of living in your location, right? Also, it'll have to do with your experience. Now, if you go into a contracting role, you can, in some cases, earn 2 times more than that, but you don't get the paid holidays, you don't get the health insurance paid for, and you have to manage your own retirement funds. The beauty for me is, for example, I live in a state where we do have the Affordable Health Care Act, which I know is a buzzword that some people don't like, but the reality is, as an independent contractor, the Affordable Health Care Act allows me to have good quality insurance at a very reasonable rate that covers all my health needs and my prescriptions, etc., and it's no headache at all. And I just renew it every January. Boom, it's done. As far as, like I said, managing my retirement fund, I do that myself. I rolled over when I left the corporate world, I rolled over my 401k into Roth IRAs, and I then have since then opened mutual funds and some other investment funds. I enjoy managing it. If you don't, like I said, you can hire someone to do that for you. So that's that. So you've got the learning management system administrator role, the LMS administrator, and you've got the training specialist role. There's a third role called the technology training specialist. I did that as well initially years ago, where you train people on how to use, for example, devices and maybe software that runs on those devices. Very easy, very straightforward. I'm not a real techie person. I learned how to do it. And the best thing about that is it's all repetition. Once you learn how to do the presentation on the device, you're doing the same presentation again and again. Now, if you're okay with that, some people don't like the repetition. It didn't bother me because at that time I was traveling. So I got to go to different cities all over the world and see the world. The company paid for all my expenses, the flights, the hotels, the food, and even gave me some miscellaneous money for toiletries, etc. And I didn't have to worry about a thing. I get to the place, I do the training, and boom, the rest of the time I could do sightseeing if I wanted to. So these are things that I wanted to present to teachers, especially public school teachers who are frustrated. I know a lot of you are leaving in droves. I know you're looking for new careers. I've not been a school teacher, but I have been a training specialist for over 10 years. I'm here to answer any questions that you may have. If you want to know something, hit me up in my DMs, as the young people say. I'll answer any questions that I can. If I can, I'll try to refer you to a source that may be able to answer your questions. And do me a favor, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm going to make more videos on this. I think there's a great need out there for people who are looking for new career paths, new avenues to change their lives and upgrade and improve their lives. And if I can be of assistance in that, I want to do that for you. So again, my name is BJ, and until the next time, peace.